Hello everyone, and welcome back to Scribe Plays Vampire the Masquerade, Coteries of New York. Last time we went on a driving tour with a Malkavian, and then had a rather anticlimactic encounter with a paparazzi. Let's continue and see what happens next. Alright, so we are at Rest Point. And no interlude. Alright. Oh, the reporter comes back. Well, let's continue on with our gossip columnist, just on the off chance something interesting happens. You've taken care of Frank Doherty, but apparently there's someone still staking out Sophie's apartment. He's not that stupid, is he? I don't know. Let's find out. The weather is cold and windy as you walk to Sophie's apartment. As a vampire, that doesn't matter anymore. Then why bring it up? You may have been saddled with eternal hunger, but at least you can ignore the wind chill. Just as you come to the door of Sophie's building, she storms out, murmuring into her phone. Yes, I know. Don't worry. I trust you to handle it. You've heard Sophie talk to her associates before. It's always the same. Generalities and vague suggestions. It makes you think she's involved in mysterious machinations, yet doesn't tell you anything. She is, and she doesn't. She's a vampire. Sophie is dressed to kill, but there's nothing unusual in that. She likes to make an impression. A black car with tinted windows is waiting for her in front of the door. A chauffeur steps out to open the car door for her. Oh, it's not her regular ghoul. Sophie notices you. I'm glad you're in the neighborhood. If you could look around for me one more time, that would be wonderful. You told me you'd gotten rid of that reporter. Turns out he's still here, snooping around. Sophie is very good at communicating disappointment. She doesn't have to do much to make it clear that she's unhappy to have to return to this issue. I'll take care of it, because I'm a good little toady. After tonight, he won't trouble you anymore. Are you going to finally take him to Knuckletown, like you said before last time? Good. Don't disappoint me. The reporter talked his way into the building during the day. Once the doorman understood what was happening, he threw him out. He showed old pictures of me to my neighbors. It's very awkward, you understand. Sophie disappears into the car and the chauffeur closes the door behind her. Wasn't the chauffeur's name Gregory? Where's Gregory? You watch as the sleek vehicle disappears into the Manhattan traffic. Just one more anonymous car among many. Best sit down somewhere and devise a plan of action. Okay. You go to a nearby diner, settle into a booth, and order a coffee from the steely-eyed Latino waitress. Latinx. As she brings you your cup, you describe Frank Doherty to her on the off chance she's seen something. Just as she's about to answer, you happen to look outside. Something catches your eye. The diner is brightly lit, so you lean closer to the window to see the street through it. You got lucky. Frank is standing on the sidewalk on the other side of the street, looking at something on his phone. So, what was the point of going to the diner? You slide out of the booth, throwing a few small bits on the table. Bills on the table. Bits, that's old-fashioned. Mumbling something to the waitress, you step outside. So, going to the diner was completely pointless. Okay. I follow Frank over. I don't want to spend any more... See, this is the thing. They never explain to me whether or not non-blood-related disciplines from the books cost me blood in this game, and I'm already, again, hungry by the blood smears, so I don't want to spend any more disciplines if I don't have to. I will follow Frank covertly. Actually, you know what? Hell. He knows who I am. We've been through this before. Frank panics and takes a few steps down the street before he stops and turns to face you. Perhaps he thinks that he's better protected in a public place rather than a dark alley. He's not wrong. His resolve lasts all of a few minutes until you make it to his side of the street through the traffic. As you get closer, he starts to inch away and finally breaks into a run. Frank is not in the physical shape to run anywhere. You catch up to him easily and take him by the scruff of his neck, pushing him into an alley. Oh God, it's you again. Please, I'm working on a different story, I swear. Frank retreats deeper into the alley. Oh, I'm gonna feed on this guy. I know why you're here. Don't worry, Frank. I know all about why you're here. You do? I mean, okay, I'm sorry I tried to bullshit you. Just tell me how I can help you. Okay. I thought we agreed there's no story. How come you're here? I thought we agreed there's no story. Usually when someone says there's no story, that means there is a story. I just couldn't let it go. Look, I don't want any trouble. I can see that you're serious. There is something to Sophie Langley. I think you know what it is. Uh-oh. You take a long, hard look at Frank Doherty. He's a tenacious man, but not brave. After the last time you met, you were sure he'd been dealt with. Where did he find the courage to come here again? Let's see. What's your real angle? Is this worth the pain? Don't you have better stories to chase? What's your real angle? I like you, Frank. You don't give up. What's your real angle here? Everybody plays an angle. That's one of the things you learn in my profession. You're smart. You know that there will be others after me. If there's a real story, they will come to find it. Your best shot is with a friendly reporter, someone you can trust, someone like me. So what do you say? Get ahead of the story. It'll be good for you and Miss Langley, too. You almost believe it, but something about Frank feels off. Oh, you think? Oh, God. Tell me I can feed on this guy at the end of this, because See, for those of you that don't know, in the tabletop game, some vampiric powers cost blood to use. Those are usually the physical ones or the more complicated ones. Some vampire powers don't cost blood. Auspex, enhancing your senses, doesn't cost any blood. And presence, depending on the level, doesn't really cost any blood. So there are social disciplines and physical disciplines and things like that, and then blood magic and all that kind of thing. So anyway, I will use presence, I guess. See if my hunger increases. You don't say anything at first. It's easy to dismiss Frank as a joke, a has-been, yet there's something beneath his talk, another story. A moment of silence is all you need for your presence to properly register in Frank's mind. He's too weak-willed to resist. Someone's leaning on you, Frank. Come clean. What? No, absolutely not. Frank's voice sounds shrill. You know you got it right in one guess. Sometimes I just need extra money, that's all. Did I really have to use presence then? Okay. Now we're finally getting somewhere. There's a guy. He's paying me, that's all. But I can't talk about that. Drink Frank dry. Oh, do I kill Frank? Kill Frank and send a message? Oh, boy. Push Frank for information. Offer Frank to work for you. If it's another vampire, it's already got its mitts in this guy, there's nothing I can do about it. I can't talk about that. If he's been dominated, there's no point in it. Of course, I don't even know if my character knows about dominate yet, but hell with it. I'm hungry. It doesn't feel like you can get anything more out of him, or perhaps that's just something you tell yourself because you see the sweet, sweet blood moving under his skin. It's hard not to stare. Frank is not a beautiful man, but you've learned that any mortal's veins can be appreciated if you look at them long enough. Blood is the great equalizer. Young or old, rich or poor, they all serve as sustenance to you. You decide to give up on Frank. If you drink him dry, he won't come back again. I'll be nice. You've grown to like Frank, despite everything, I guess. You want to make his last moments pleasant. Close your eyes. I'll make you feel good. Frank doesn't have time to react before you take him into your arms and gently bite down on his neck. The bliss of your bite overwhelms him and he moans in helpless desire. It's difficult to say whether Frank realizes you're killing him. He struggles weakly, but that could be just from the sensations your bite gives him. By the time life is really leaving his body, he can't do much more than lean on you. You've come to learn that all mortals taste a little different, the traces of their life showing in the blood in their veins. Their emotions push through, making each feeding different. It's a question of taste whether you prefer your prey scared or aroused. You drink your fill as Frank goes weak in your arms, falling down, his body lifeless. Okay, please don't tell me that by some accident of fate here I'm going to end up embracing Frank, because that'd be funny. There was a richness to his blood that you appreciate. You've already learned that it's a mistake to judge the quality of blood based on the mortal's looks, and Frank certainly shows that to be true. There's a dumpster in the alley. Straining a little, you haul Frank's body into it. You tear at his clothes and take his wallet to make it look like a mugging gone wrong. Yes, a mugging gone wrong, which resulted in exsanguination. I'm sure that's going to be... yeah. Not long ago, doing something like this would have been inconceivable. Now, it's just feeding. Kind of. Oh, good, my blood stuff went away. Yay. Okay, well, I wonder if there'll be any consequences from that. What else we have? Somebody's watching me. Oh, yeah, our stalker. Well, since we're on a stalker kick here between the paparazzi, let's cover our other stalker. Last time you failed to resolve the situation with your stalker. You have to get a handle on that one. You have to get a handle on that one way or another. I wonder if I'll murder this person, too. You're in your haven when the intercom rings. Answering cautiously, you hear an older male voice. Hello? I'm calling because a friend asked me to come by and offer you my services. Who is this? It's not important. Actually, it's vitally important. The man sounds strangely excited, breathing hard. Okay. Is this a sex thing? No, I mean, not in that way. Okay. I know you're one of them. Please, it's all right. I don't mind. You can drink with me, if you understand what I mean. So you're a walking masquerade breach? Okay. A man you've never seen before is paying a visit to an apartment not many people know of, offering for you to feed from him. Yes, I grasped that. Let's continue this face-to-face. Might as well. That's a wonderful idea. Silence. A minute passes and you hear a knock on the door to your haven. You cautiously open the door. Okay, so the guy was standing, what, down the hall or something? Okay. A stranger looks at you sheepishly. He's in his 30s, dressed in a clean business suit. He looks moderately successful, someone you could meet at an investment bank. Or he was in the intercom, wasn't he? Yeah, it was the intercom. Okay. I'm sorry, I didn't want to intrude, so that's why I called from downstairs. Yeah. Okay, might as well. You know what? Come in. I was hungry anyway. The man looks comically satisfied as you usher him into your haven. He barely waits for you to close the door before he loosens the collar of his shirt, closes his eyes, and bares his neck in quivering expectation. You look at the man, taken aback by such forwardness. Figuring that you didn't invite the man here for a chat, you lean in closer, take him by the shoulders, and sink your fangs into him. This is not an unpleasant way to feed. This is not an unpleasant way to feed, you reflect, as the blood flows into your mouth. Okay, the food comes to your door of its own volition. The man moans as you drink from him, lost in the ecstasy of the kiss. It feels a little unseemly, but it would be churlish to begrudge him his pleasures. I guess, or he's a walking masquerade breach, one of the two. Taking care not to drink too much, you let go of the man after licking his wounds closed. Suddenly, you're startled by a surprising sight. A woman, not very old, strangely dressed, is looking at you intently, only an arm's length away. Obfuscate! Before you can react, the mysterious woman opens your front door and vanishes from sight, leaving you to wonder whether you really saw her at all. As you stare, confused, the man you drank from slips out of your haven and into the hallway, staggering a little from the effects of the kiss. Was that a Trojan horse? You close your door, wondering what that was all about. At least you got to feed, if nothing else. Okay. Well, I guess it's rest time. I'm sure I set myself up for problems there. Sophie requests your presence tonight, and it seems urgent. You find her already waiting for you and clearly pondering something. It takes a few minutes of awkward silence before she speaks. I require your assistance, Scribe. There is a matter of great importance that I need to ask you to resolve for me. Tell me it's another reporter. You will find what I'm about to say surprising, I'm sure, but I need you to hear me out. I need you to contact an important anarch figure in New York City and arrange a meeting for us. Aren't meetings with anarchs forbidden? I'll be setting a trap. What business do you have meeting anarchs? I'll ask for clarification. Wait, I'm pretty sure we're not supposed to meet with anarchs. We're at war, right?
The prince does look unfavorably at those who meet with the anarchs, that much is true. You will find that with this, as with many other things, the Camarilla's policies have more than their share of hypocrisy inherent to them. It comes hand in hand with using medieval power structures. What we are forbidden to do, the prince may do willingly. Some of these things can be done in the open, while others are kept secret as to not invite discord and discontent. I need to contact a man named Torque. He's an influential member of the movement and, like most of them, very suspicious of the Camarilla. That's why I'm sending you to extend my invitation.
Why me? Why not go yourself? Yeah, that's stupid. What are you scheming? How do I know he'll talk to me?
He won't. Not yet, anyway. You need to start further down the chain, and with the right story to spin. From my limited sources adjacent to the movement, I've gathered that your best chance to speak to Torque is to first meet with his right-hand woman, Mia. She's a regular at a club called the Leech Pit.
The Leech Pit, okay.
I think it would be best if you presented yourself as an anarch hopeful, a fledgling looking for a place of belonging. Only after you talk to Torque directly should you mention my name and the meeting.
Oh, so you want me to lie to the anarchs to get them on my side. That'll make sense. Yeah, lying to them won't make them trust me. I don't think that's the right approach. Lying to them won't make them trust me. When they find out the truth, they won't be happy or eager to work with us.
That might be true, but if you tell Mia outright that I sent you, she's likely to cut you off. She hates our sect, and it will be difficult to make her listen to reason. After tonight, I suggest that we do not speak of this again until you arrange the meeting. There are many who would jump at the chance to use this against us. With Kaiser, you have proven you can get the job done, even if it requires additional legwork. I trust you to deal with this task as quickly and covertly as possible.
Okay, so my concerns about lying to them are just set aside. Okay.
Forgive me, but that's all the time I can spare tonight. What I'm asking of you is just part of a bigger whole. Trust me, it will all be worth it.
I'll do my best.
I know you will. Check with Gregory for the address of the Leech Pit. Have Mia introduce you to Torque. When she does, tell him I wish to meet. Let him pick the time and place, but let it be soon. If he proves too guarded, tell him I have something that will help him gather allies against Bost Callahan. That should pique his interest. Good luck, and obviously, not a word about this to anyone else. Not even any new friends you might have made in recent nights. This stays between us.
The way she says that final sentence suggests a not-so-veiled threat, but her warm smile belies that impression. You want her to keep trusting you. You wouldn't want to disappoint her. Gregory gives you the address. The club is in Brooklyn. Apparently it's some kind of heavy metal bar with a dedicated concert space. Time to pay this Mia a visit. The place is teeming with people tonight. You arrive in the middle of a concert. The music is loud, almost deafening, and it takes you a while to get used to it. The noise hurts your ears. This venue isn't suitable for this kind of music, and none of the instruments sound the way they should. The cacophony sets you on edge. A group of a few dozen patrons are tightly packed together, and the smell of their sweat and youthful, excited blood overwhelms you momentarily. It's with some difficulty that you turn to the task at hand. You've heard your share about the anarchs and how they fit into kindred politics, but you only have your short encounter in Corona Park on which to base your actual opinion of the faction. That might have been just a horrible first impression, but you're keeping your guard up just in case. Let's see. Ask for Mia at the bar, be direct. You start at the bar. Mia was supposed to be a regular. Might as well check how true that is. The bartender turns to you after she pours a line of drinks for a group of rowdy patrons.
What can I get you?
Hey, have you seen Mia tonight?
Depends on who's asking.
She gives you a sly smile.
What do you want with her?
Is this music too loud? I can't tell. Let's see. Apparently I can't change the settings. Okay, well, hopefully I'm not drowning everything out. Heard she has connections. I'd like to meet somebody through her. Yeah, she knows people who know people. Have a seat somewhere. I'll send her your way if I see her. You find a table to yourself after the group you saw order the drinks before clears out, and keep observing the scene at the bar. About 20 minutes pass before a woman approaches you. She's lanky, wearing a jacket a few sizes too big for her frame. It's clear she's got an attitude. She sits across from you without question. Carol tells me you wanted to talk to me. Follow me behind the bar. She leads you through the bar to a back door that leads into a side room. Indie metal band posters are plastered on every wall, some of them 20 or more years old, judging from the tour dates. An old, sticky table and some rickety chairs are the only pieces of furniture here. Sit down. Sure. You take a seat as the woman leans against one of the walls. The name's Mia. I'm guessing your visit here isn't a happy coincidence. I don't know you, so you're either new to New York or kept an outstandingly low profile. Both sound suspect. So before we take these pleasantries further, answer me this. Who do you run with? You know, given the fact that I made such an impression amongst the Camarilla and out in the park, I have a low profile? Okay. Okay, so do I tell her up front? No. Okay, I will take Sophie's advice and do the thing against my own instincts, and I'll just lie all the way through. See what happens. I'm independent. I don't bow to anyone. Isn't that adorable? Listen, fledgling, you don't get to be this fresh in the game and not pick a side. Those Second Inquisition fucks are all too happy to pick on delusional kids like you. So are the cams. They offer you rewards aplenty for your servitude, but never actually deliver. Fortunately for you, there's another option. But before I get to that, let's get one thing out of the way. Like, how did I know to ask for you? She leans in. If this is some clever ploy to oust me from my domain, or if you're just here to spy on me in the movement, I'll make sure that you don't enjoy undeath much longer. Got it? You can tell it's a purely rhetorical question. Duh. Right, here's the pitch. The Camarilla likes to think that they're the vanilla option, what the prince bitch Panhard pretending that they were always in charge, but New York has never been a fully cammy city. They might have won the city back in '99, but cams have had their asses handed to them so many times over the years, and the movement has been here at least as long as they have. Hell, I moved to New York City before World War II, and that was a good while after I saw the Camarilla for what they are, a way to keep us all subservient and in line. The ivory tower will tell you that they're the only safeguard for the traditions, and that's kind of the problem. There's only one tradition we in the movement feel should be respected, the Masquerade, obviously. Everything else, ask the prince and she'll tell you it's the logical continuation of the Masquerade, but really it's just a way to keep the elders powerful and in control. She grimaces. But here's the thing. For all the talk of us bloodsuckers being solitary creatures, we need a community to keep up the Masquerade. Community, yes, but authority, not so much. We need a council of peers to keep the assholes and power-drunk fledglings in check, but not a feudal prince to tell you where to feed and who to hunt down before they step on her toes. Oh, sorry, when they step on her toes. She takes a brief break from her indignant rant. Let's see. So you anarchs don't have a ruler. A ruler? No. But leaders? Sure. Most follow old boss Callahan's lead. So is Callahan like an anarch prince? See, that's a line straight from Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, where you go talk to Nines Rodriguez for the first time, and he kind of describes his role in things, and you say, so you're like the Prince of Anarchs or something, and he gets all pissed off. Oh, that's a nice callback. Is Callahan like a kind of prince, but for anarchs? Yeah, that's about right, which isn't the way things should be. Oh, okay. If you're concerned about being well received in this city, you might need to go through Callahan, but if you're serious about the anarch cause itself, he's not your guy. Callahan eats up fledglings like you and shits out self-preservation. His position as Baron is mighty shaky now, not least due to the fact he's backstabbed more than his share of allies. Wow, she's letting a whole lot of stuff drop here. So he's doing what any other old fart in a position of power would do. He's doubling down. Negotiations are out. Intimidation is in. Tightening ranks as a precaution against the Second Inquisition. She surprises you by hacking and spitting on the ground in disgust. Okay. If you've spent some time with the Cams, that should sound very familiar to you. He's no better than Panhard and her cronies are at this point. I didn't say I spent any time with Camarilla. I said I was independent. No, you need to contact Torque. And wouldn't you know it, it's your lucky night. Because I'm the lick to do it through. Uh-huh. Why Torque? Because he's one of the good guys, or at least as good as we leeches can be. Torque is a leader, a local baron who's overseeing a small domain, but doing a very good job of it. Callahan knows this, so he's giving him shit. Torque is taking it like a champ. He's smart like that, for one of us rebels. He's got the patience of a saint. Makes you think back to how things used to be back when, if the stories are to be believed. Anyway, you want to meet him? I'm going to require a show of goodwill first. Okay. What do you have in mind? She flashes you a mischievous half-smile. I appreciate your readiness, but I don't have the details just now. Ask for me at the bar when you're able. I'll leave something for you, and we'll take it from there. Now come on, I gotta go. She walks you out of the bar and you go your separate ways. Seems like there's nothing more to do than return here later and see if Mia can really help you contact Torque. All right, well, don't want to do another one or call it here. Okay, let's check in on our Nosferatu PI real quick. As you leave your haven, a homeless man bumps into you. You turn after him, but he blends into the crowd before you can even get a good look at his face. Instinctively, you check your pocket. A note. Looking at Manhattan Bridge. Come over. D. Knowing there are only so many places with a good enough view of the Manhattan Bridge, you decide to check the ones that aren't likely to be crowded at this time of night. It doesn't take long before you hit the jackpot. Jane's Carousel. As you're walking along the pier, you notice a lonely figure sitting on the bench. Steel flask in hand, his legs up on the railing. Soon enough, you hear a familiar voice.
Evening turned to night, and as the final flickering rays of sunlight gave way to the kind nocturnal shadows, so did the last of the jabbering tourists give way to a blessed silence. And yet, I couldn't shake the feeling.
Pausing mid-sentence, he leans back over the bench backrest and looks straight at you. Upside down, his face looks even creepier than usual.
That I wasn't alone.
What's in the flask? That flask. Is that what I think it is? Well, what else would it be? Come on.
Depends on what you think. It's a little something from my private reserve. I call it the Drunken Sailor, because that's probably where it came from.
He takes a sip, then points the flask in your general direction.
Want some?
Yeah. Sure, why not? You take the flask and take a swig. It's blood, all right, mixed with other frivolous substances, some of which you recognize, while others you probably don't want to know.
That's the spirit. Now that you're good and soused, there's something I've been meaning to tell you. There's been another one. Killing, I mean, down by the docks.
Now, for a second there, I thought he was going to say, a reporter in a dumpster. That would have been great. Same M.O.? The blood, the graffiti?
Yep, it was our gal, all right. Victim sucked dry, same as before. Another sign on the wall, something about impending doom and, oh Lord, he's coming. The particulars escape me. You know, that night when I saw her, she looked so frail, so innocent. Deep inside, I was hoping she'd be spooked, get out of town. That maybe, just maybe, that would be the end of it. But that's me, you know, hopelessly optimistic.
So what's the plan?
The plan is...
He stops mid-sentence, taking a swig of liquid courage.
We stop her, at any cost. I'd rather not involve killing the girl, but I'm starting to think that ship has already sailed.
Another swig. You're not sure how much of this is genuine and how much of it is an act, but still, he's starting to worry you a bit.
So anyway, I've set up a meeting. Neutral ground, public space. Shouldn't get too ugly. Still, I was hoping you could tag along.
Who are we meeting? He takes another compulsive swig.
Better strap in, 'cause this one's a doozy.
Am I meeting your parents? Unless you want to introduce me to your parents, I can probably handle it. Come on, who is it?
Valerie.
Valerie? As in murderous bitch Valerie? Likes to choke people out for the fuck of it Valerie? That Valerie?
You ever notice that if you repeat a word enough times, it just starts to sound like animal noises? But yeah, that Valerie. I know you two didn't exactly hit it off, but she's not as bad as you might think. I mean, in some respects, she's probably worse, but she can be reasoned with.
Once again, he goes for the flask, but stops himself mid-motion.
Look, the way I see it, we ain't got a choice. As much as I want to help Sana, she's clearly a few bats short of a belfry. More people are going to die unless we do something about it.
I get it. Lesser of two evils.
I like your attitude, kid. I know it sucks, but hey, if there's one thing life has taught me, you don't always get what you want.
Noticeably proud of his words of wisdom, he tries to top him off with one last swig. A single drop falls between his crooked teeth. He looks at the empty flask with the utmost contempt.
Well, ain't that fucking poignant.
Muttering a curse under his breath, he makes a valiant effort to get up off the bench. As he staggers, struggling to remain upright, you offer your shoulder to lean on. He shoots you a smile that's as crooked as it is affectionate.
Hey, kid.
You meet his gaze, trying to look friendly rather than condescending.
You're all right.
And with that heartfelt moment, you bid adieu to the sprawling vista and make your way towards the bridge. Next stop, Manhattan. Entering the park from Midtown Manhattan, you promptly take a spot by one of the alleys, not very deep into the park. Minutes pass, 5, 10, 15. You start to wonder if she's even going to show up. Suddenly you hear a familiar voice, but with an unfamiliar tone. She sounds almost nice. Hello, Ginny. And there she is, walking along the side of the fountain. She looks less out of place here than back at that junkie-infested hovel, but only by a slight margin. Something tells you there are only so many places she would feel at home, and probably not ones you would want to find yourself in.
Val.
She glances over at you, barely noting your presence. Sorry about last time. Nothing personal, you understand. When I get caught up in the moment, I can get a bit intense.
I can attest to that.
Can you two just get a room, because the sexual tension is just unbearable? D'Angelo gives you a pleading look. He clearly doesn't want you to dwell on the subject. What? You hear that, Ginny? Your friend has us all figured out. What? She takes a step toward you. The smell of her perfume is overpowering. Or maybe it's just jealousy. Although I'd be careful if I were you. Last time we got close, it didn't exactly work out for you. Speaking of which, how's that neck doing? It's fine. I barely felt it anyway. She can tell you're lying. You can tell she's enjoying herself. I'm so glad. Now let's get down to business. Yeah, okay. We're here to talk about Sana. Who? Oh, right, the Thin Blood. What about her?
The girl's a threat. We need to find her. Figure we can do it faster if we work together.
Uh-huh. Keep going, honey, 'cause I have a feeling there's a catch coming.
The catch is...
Awkward silence. It's not often you see him at a loss for words. Seeing him struggle, you decide to jump in. Don't be a murderous bitch. Sure. You have to not be a murderous bitch for like a day or two. See now, that's a real deal breaker right there, sugar. If you want me to even consider it, you'll have to sweeten the pot. Once again, she turns to D'Angelo. And I bet tall, dark, and handsome over here might have some ideas. Just tell us what you want. Oh, you're no fun anymore.
She wants a higher profile target, to show off to the prince what a good little scourge she is. That all you care about nowadays, huh? Playing the game, climbing the ranks?
A smile creeps onto her lips. You can tell it's forced. D'Angelo definitely knows how to get under her skin. That's my Ginny, a big old brain, and a heart to match. Once again, she turns to you.
I knew right away he'd try to help this girl. He does love a damsel in distress. But you, I'm still not sure what your angle is. It's the right thing to do. Same as you, advancement. What do you care? Yeah. What do you care? I don't, honey. Not really. It's called making conversation. So there, you know my terms. Contact me when you've made up your mind. Don't take too long, though. I'm a lucky girl. I might just find your little thin blood on my own. Still, I hope we can work together. We did make a good team back in the day, didn't we? Slowly, seductively, she puts her arms around his shoulders. She glances over to you, clearly enjoying how awkward it makes you feel. D, you have some explaining to do. You hear that, Ginny? You're in some hot water now. Anyway, withdrawing from the strange half-embrace, she flicks D'Angelo's nose gently with her index finger. Almost instantly, she turns from flirtatious to dispassionate. However this plays out, I have a feeling we'll meet again, sooner than later. Until then... Without sparing you another glance, she disappears down an unlit park alley. D'Angelo watches her go. The look on his face, a mixture of longing and guilt, is borderline comical. Finally, he turns back towards you, as if breaking some spell he was under.
Well, that could have gone a lot worse.
Were you guys a thing? Okay, I have to ask. Did you and she ever...
Nope, not going there. Val and I, we got some history. Some of it good, some of it bad. Let's leave it at that. And kid, don't be fooled. Val likes to play around, but she will rip your fucking guts out and stuff them up your ass if it means she can get what she wants. And right now, she wants me to give her Larson.
How is he involved? Or wait, what does Larson have to do with any of this?
He doesn't, not directly. It's just that he might have some less than admirable chapters in his...
It's just that he might have some less than admirable chapters in his biography. Okay.
Might have done some pretty egregious shit. And Valerie knows a certain handsome someone might have evidence of said shit. Which would allow her to bring him down. And bringing down a primogen, even one as lame as Larson, is a pretty big deal.
He squints, rubbing the bridge of his nose.
Fuck it, I'm heading back to the office. Need to put my feet up, get some blood flowing through the old noggin. You coming?
You nod. Why the hell not? And so you make your way toward Fifth Avenue. You've got a long way ahead of you and a lot of stuff to figure out. Although it's not your first visit, you still find it hard to navigate the dark, rust-ridden corners of the grain terminal. Luckily, this time you're with someone who could probably do this blindfolded, so you just follow his lead. As you're both climbing the rickety stairs leading to the Apologies. As you're both climbing the rickety stairs leading to the mezzanine, you suddenly notice light coming from D'Angelo's office. A quick look assures that no, he did not, in fact, leave it on. How do you know he... What? A quick look... Okay, his look to you? Okay. I thought he meant looking in the office. You bust through the door like Undead Tango and Hooch. Or was that Turner and Cash? Oh, God. Ready to unleash unholy fury on the intruders. You half expect an Anarch Death Squad, or a SI hunting party. Let me guess, it's Sana. Instead, you get Larson, who nearly falls out of the chair when you two bust in. Well, look who it is. Missed us already? Hardly. Seemingly both intrigued and irritated by the surprise visit, D'Angelo walks over to a cabinet and pulls out a fresh cigar.
Then may I ask what brings you, O venerable primogen, to my humble abode?
Her. He points at a tiny shadow cowering in the corner of the room. To your astonishment, it turns out to be a very familiar face. The blood. No, not again. Please. Where the hell did you find her? Outside my front door. She must have heard me, found out where I lived. It's not uncommon knowledge among the Duskborn. She probably figured I could help, but honestly, I have no idea what to do with her. I mean, I should turn her into the prince, but that's just another strike against my people. Then again, I can't just set her loose, not after what she did. Fuck, D'Angelo, you can tell I'm desperate if my first instinct was to come to you.
No, Larson, I wouldn't attribute that decision to what's left of your common sense.
He leans over to you.
Hey, kid, I think we should call it a night. Just give me some time to talk to the girl. Maybe I'll get through to her somehow.
The sign! The sign! It's always there.
Though I ain't holding my breath.
Honestly, you're glad to leave him to it. Spending the night in a small room with a tiny serial killer somehow doesn't seem too appealing. Says the guy that just murdered a reporter and threw his body in a dumpster. Still, you're hoping D'Angelo will be all right. He's got some tough choices ahead of him. All right, well, with that, we will call this part to a close. If you appreciate this kind of content, do let me know in the comments below. Leave a like as well. And, as always, thank you for watching.